Hey, Jere, it's great to have you on here tonight.
It's an honor to be on with you, Chris. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
We met back, I think it was 2004, in Shelby Township in a networking group.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. A lot's changed since then, obviously. I thought it was great for us to get together and do this, and I'll record it. We can send it out to some people. But 2008 hit, and I think everyone's world changed then, and we're seeing some stuff happening now. Don't know what's going to happen, but talk about we met in 2004 networking group. Talk about what you were doing at that time when we first met.
When we first met, I was working in the construction industry, building homes, doing remodeling additions, and so forth.
And 2008 construction. It was 2008, 2009 construction basically completely dried up because of the market crash and everything else that happened.
Yeah, yeah. So we started to see things slow down. I want to say in like 2007, and when the market crashed, everything came to pretty much a screeching halt as far as people building custom homes. We started to do even more, or try to do even more, remodeling and additions, but everything was so cutthroat because every contractor, they were in the same situation. So anytime we would bid on a job, there'd be a dozen or more contractors that would undercut us, and it just became just kind of chasing our tails trying to get work. And then the work that we did get, weren't very profitable. I mean, you're lucky to break even sometimes.
Right. At the time I was in real estate and went from selling a lot of new construction, helping people find their dream home, I'd say fairly easy work, to short sales and foreclosures, and people are miserable, and it's just a completely different shift. And lost the passion for real estate very quickly at that time, and the market just crushed me. I know you guys, felt the same with, and we're open, and we're looking for something different, and that's kind of what's brought us into the home business arena. If you would, what was it that got you in? You couldn't find work, you couldn't find a job, you're just ready to give something new a try. What was it?
A combination of things. For one, when times were good in the construction industry and I was making great money, I was averaging six figures a year, but I was working 7 days a week. I had no time freedom. My friends were going out having a good time, and I was working like crazy hours. Looking back, I would do things differently for sure. And then on top of all of that, with the construction slowing down, I also owned many rental homes at one point. And when 2008 reset happened, a lot of my renters either took pay cuts or lost their jobs as well. So they were getting behind on their rent. Well, I still had mortgages on those homes. And, we were going through our savings and our bank account trying to, continue to pay the house payments on our own place plus the rentals, with no income coming in and no rental income coming in. We burned through our savings pretty quick. So it finally got to a point where I had to say enough was enough. I needed to do things differently if I wanted different results. And I was looking for a way to create a residual income, because that was the whole point of the rental properties, was to generate a residual income month after month. And then with my experience, of the rental properties, and not being able to sell the homes for a fraction of what I owed on them after the market tanked, and foreclosure and bankruptcy, and basically hitting rock bottom, I knew that there's other ways to generate a residual income. And I was specifically interested in something that would give me the option to do from home. My wife was a legal assistant for 20 plus years. And once we started having our family, we wanted to be able to keep her home full time, versus, the kids going to daycare, and, you're looking at, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a month for daycare every month. And it just wasn't a viable option. So I was looking for a couple different things, opportunity to generate a residual income that gave me the time freedom, gave me some more options in life, a little bit more independence. I love entrepreneurship and, being self-employed. That's always been a dream of mine. And so, I mean, kind of all those things I just mentioned is basically what I was looking for.
Yeah, and myself in real estate, obviously, the market was down. The market was crushed. I had rentals too. I think I had 3 or 4 at 7 maybe at one time. 42 agents in our office. I was one of the youngest real estate brokers in the state of Michigan. And the thing with real estate is, for any realtor, is you're always at the mercy of your clients. They want to see houses on nights and weekends. There's some loyalty. There's some not. You can show 20 houses and someone will go buy through somebody else.
Right.
It's very good months. It's always up and down. So I was always open to looking for something new. I knew there was a better way. I was like, there's got to be something better than this. And it's for us. I know looking back at the construction and real estate, sometimes we're like, wow, I'm glad to be out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Experience is your best teacher. But the thing, when I was looking back, getting involved in this industry was in down markets. You can do better. You can do better. It's almost, I wouldn't say recession proof, but you can do better in down markets because there's less jobs out there and people are looking. So that's something that's always fascinated me about what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And to add to that, after I got out of construction, I was desperately trying to get back into what I'm currently doing now as a mechanical design engineer. I was doing that prior to construction, but I never got my bachelor's degree in engineering. So trying to get in an engineering type job was very, very challenging for me. And, sending my resumes out and interviews and being rejected, and everybody liked my experience and my work ethic and everything about me. But the one thing that kind of held me back, or people or employers weren't willing to do was, since I didn't have my degree. So what I love about what we're doing now is it doesn't matter if you're young, if you're middle-aged, or if you're in retirement. Doesn't matter your educational background, your experience, your level of education, if you came from a rich family or a poor family. It doesn't make any difference. You can create any level of success that you desire in this opportunity.
Right. So it begins, I think, for both of us, is just starting to think different and wanting different. It starts by reading books. I know both of us are huge fans of Robert Kiyosaki and his books. A couple of my favorites is Rich Dad Poor Dad and the Cash Flow Quadrant. The Cash Flow Quadrant for me was so important because there's the employee, which is basically you're dependent on someone else all the time. You want security, you want those benefits, and then eventually you decide, okay, I want to be self-employed. I want to do this for myself, but it's just you. There's no leverage. It's 100% of your efforts. For an example, if you're a small business or a barber, if you don't cut hair, you don't get paid. Or if you're a small business and with a few employees, you're responsible for the employees and all the overhead. And it was that Cash Flow Quadrant book that talked about leverage and working with a team of people and working together and leveraging each other's efforts. And you'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of your own. And that's what makes this model so special. And sometimes people don't get it. It's a lot of hard work. You got to work really hard in the beginning. You don't get what you're worth early on, and eventually you start getting more than what you're worth. And that's just, they call it unfair business. But it's like any business. Any business you start, it's going to take work to get it off the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember early on in this industry working with you, you mentioned to me you had to have a long-term vision, delayed gratification, and the power of compounding.
Absolutely.
And leveraging your time and efforts. And those 3 things have been key to, where I am today.
Right. Well, thanks for, getting on here and sharing a few minutes. We'll share this part with the team, and then we're going to continue talking about some other things, but really appreciate everything that you and Sandy do. and looking forward to the future. And there's some times of uncertainty right now with everything going on, but we know here, the best is yet to come, and we're going to get through this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Chris. Appreciate it.
Awesome.